What if I told you that the man who illuminated the whole world once said to be a failure, that his teachers believed him to be stupid, that he has lost jobs, was rejected, was laughed at, and that before he succeeded, he did not fail once, nor 10 times, nor 100 times, but over 1,000 times. Yes, 1,000. This is the untold history of Thomas Edison. And it's not just his story, either. It is every dreamer's tale who has ever been said, "You can't do it." Stay with me to the end, since it has all the potential to alter how you view failure for good. Thomas Edison was born in 1847 in a small American town of Ohio. Since his early start, he was different. Where other children played outside, young Thomas sat still and quiet, looking at things, unbuttoning them, and asking constant questions. What is it doing? What if I do that? What is it? But the world is not necessarily ready to embrace other children. He soon became frustrated with his teachers. They said that he was slow. They claimed that he couldn't concentrate. Some even whispered that he was stupid. After that, his teacher gave him a closed letter and instructed him to deliver it to his mother at his own house. Thomas, being innocent and inquisitive, gave Nancy Edison the letter. She opened it, read it in silence, and tears filled up her eyes. But when Thomas inquired what it said, she smiled. She welcomed her son and said, "Tommy, you are too intelligent for that school. It cannot do anything for you anymore. From here on out, I'll be teaching you myself." That one moment altered everything. Rather than allowing the world to dampen her son's spirit, Nancy Edison sowed in him the seed of belief. And belief is what turns ordinary people into legends. Back at home, Edison read compulsively. Science, mechanics, electricity, he devoured anything that came his way. First lab, the basement of his own home. It was permeated with chemicals, smoke, and insatiable curiosity. But experiments are expensive. So from a tender age of only 12, he began to sell newspapers and candies in trains. Whatever income was earned by him was invested in chemicals and machinery. But experiments are risky. Once a bottle of chemicals burst and detonated on the traveling train. The blast created panic. The furious conductor beat him and threw all his equipment off the train. Humiliated? Yes. Broken? No. Thomas just got up and said softly, "One day they will know." He became nearly fully deaf by his teenage years. Childhood disease rendered him essentially deaf for the remainder of his career. Visualize that for just a moment. A man who would turn out to be one of history's greatest inventors could barely hear the world outside of him. Most people would have given up. Not Edison. He considered his deafness to be a blessing. Once he would say, "Because I cannot hear, I am not distracted. I can work." But it did not come that smoothly. He experimented with dozens of careers. He was a telegraph operator. He worked as a seller, but everywhere he failed or got fired. Supervisors complained that he was distracted, too obsessed with experiments, too different. But in truth, Thomas Edison was never meant to be normal. Years later, Edison started inventing seriously. Among his earliest inventions, flops. Success was eluding him, one after another. His investors lost faith. Everyone ridiculed him. They said, "He's wasting his time, he's wasting his money, he'll never get anywhere." But Edison didn't think that failure was it either. He claimed in afterward, "I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that do not work." Then came his most serious challenge, the electric light bulb. Back then, they would illuminate candles and oil lamps. The conception of illuminating whole cities with electricity was considered ridiculous. absurd. But Edison was obsessed. He thought it was possible, so he started experimenting. He tried one material for the filament. It burnt out. He had another. It shattered. He had another. It melted. Days turned into weeks. Weeks to months. Months into years. More than 1,000 attempts. Failure after failure after failure. Their lab assistants became irritated. Some even quit. They would say, "This is useless. 1,000 times we've already tried. It can never be accomplished." But Edison, he smiled and added, "We haven't failed. We just understand 1,000 ways that won't work, so we're closer than ever." Finally, after years of unceasing labor, after nearly 1,000 experiments, it was a still evening in 1879. The world changed forever. The Edison bulb's filament remained lit, not for seconds, not for minutes, but for hours. The impossible had become possible. The darkness had been defeated, and never once would the world be the same again. But Edison's story doesn't end there. He proceeded to create the phonograph, the motion picture camera, upgrades to the phone, and more than 1,000 patents throughout his life. Yes, that stupid boy whom teachers considered to be, became one of human history's most excellent inventors. Then what can we learn from Thomas Edison? We find that failure is not something that comes. After success, it is part of it. We learn that we progress from all our mistakes. We learn that grit triumphs over talent, luck, and intelligence. Most of them give up after initial failure. Some give up after 10. No one finishes after 100. Yet Edison experienced 1,000 setbacks and still didn't give up. And that is why today, when you turn a switch, you get light. So next time you feel like giving up, next time somebody teases you for having fantasies, the next time that life knocks you down, remember this: Thomas Edison was once called stupid. He was fired from jobs. He lost his hearing. He had failed 1,000 times, and still, he changed the world. You might just be a step away from that moment of enlightenment for yourself. Perhaps you're just one other shot away from making it. So don't stop now. Brendan was. Practice further. Ever since your story, such as Edison's, may inspire the world. That is the untold story of Thomas Edison. Not only a man who provided us with light, but a man who demonstrated that no matter how many times you're down, if you won't give up, you will rise. And when you rise, you will inspire.